What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another Southern Outdoorsman video. I almost said Southern Outdoorsman podcast because I'm editing a podcast right now that will go up in the morning. It's 12:36. I have to go to bed because I have to scout tomorrow. But in this podcast, we're talking about summer scouting for deer. We're talking about kind of some things that you want to look for in the summer, specifically to make you more successful in the fall. And some of those things kind of included scouting hunting pressure. So kind of see where other guys were parking, find old cigarette butts, find old scent wicks, find cat eyes, find where people are hunting and avoid those areas. Find late season, not just late season, but early season food sources as well. Oak trees, greenbrier, pokeweed, all kinds of stuff that deer are eating out there that not like a food plot or whatever, just general natural stuff that the deer are eating that you can key in on. Another thing is subtle terrain features. That's something we're going to be looking for tomorrow, is subtle terrain features like a small saddle that doesn't show up on a 10-foot increment topo map. On a topo map, there's a line every 10 feet of elevation. There might be a saddle that's only a 5-foot elevation difference, but the deer still use it. It's still a saddle. So that's something that's really important to key in on, and that's what Jacob had a lot of success on last year. Let's go scout tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the field after I get about 5 hours of sleep. Alright, here we are in the field. Got my tripod, got a little Gatorade with me, and we're about to go find some deer, hopefully. Good looking little creek bottom down here. Got the cutover up above me that I just walked through. Looks like a fantastic place to walk around if you want to get nailed by a rattlesnake. I'm gonna shoot down this little drainage that I'm in right now and just kind of see what I can find, really. Main thing I'm looking for is a travel route today. If I find some beds, awesome. If I find some good oak trees that are all together, awesome. But main thing I'm looking for is just a pretty defined travel route where I know that the deer are probably going to be moving through early season this year, or really all season. You know, a good saddle, a good place to cross this creek down here, anything like that. As you can probably tell, this is pretty rough and it's nice and steep, and I like hunting in steep stuff like this because it really funnels deer. But we're gonna go see what we can find. Okay, so here's my first good piece of sign. Old scrape right there. That's not something to necessarily put too much faith in, but it's good to see that in the rut, looks like they were probably traveling this. That's a pretty sizable scrape. That tells me that hopefully multiple deer were using it, which is good. Just right down here, I got another cutover. I'm on the other side of the creek now. There's another cutover up there. Looks like the deer are just skirting the bottom of it, kind of running these scrapes. There's actually two right there. There's a big one and a small one. I had to get over here because it's overexposed. Over there, you can't see it worth the crap. That is a cliff, so no walking on that. I mean, there's a big boulder just fell out of it not long ago, you can tell. So walking over there is not very easy, but yeah, check out that scrape. Good looking branch right there. Good to know, good to know. Keep moving. Okay, so another thing that we talked about on that podcast is bedding, but also scouting access. So I got two for here. Right there. It's a nice bed. Definitely used quite a bit. A little bit of hair in it, worn down to the dirt, and it's down here in this little draw next to the creek where it's definitely a little cooler than the surrounding woods. That tells me this is probably just a summertime bed, warm season bed. So for hunting purposes, this isn't that useful. It just tells me that there's deer hanging out here right now, which I can't hunt them right now. But another thing is this draw behind me right here is coming up out of that cutover, and that cutover is thick and nasty, and so is this draw. So it's a good soft edge, which is what we were talking about on the show yesterday. Just, you know, you have a really thick cutover, and instead of hitting, you know, wide open hardwoods, it's not as hard of a transition, it's softer. So it was thick up there, and it's thick in here, but it's a different kind of thick, or maybe just not as thick. So in here you got a lot of hardwood stems, while up there you got a lot of grasses and pines and stuff. So this is important for two reasons. One, this might be a good travel route. Like, deer might funnel out of stuff like this. So setting up on the edge of this little thick draw might be a good place to hunt if you can shoot in here, which in here it'd be a little sketchy even getting up in a saddle. And another thing is accessing. If I have to go past this, I need to know that this is here, because then, you know, I might have to wade up the creek or something. So just a lot of things to take into consideration, but glad I found that. It's definitely pretty cool. coming into this area because there's that creek down there, and then there's a bench up above that where this cutover starts, and there's the bench, and there's the cutover. So I just got up in here, and there's a couple rubs around, and down here is the next draw that is a lot like the last one I was in, and I eased up over it, and there's a deer bedded right there. I saw it stand up out of its bed, and I was trying to get my daggum camera up, and it ran off before I could start recording, and then I took another step and two more got up and ran off. So you might have been able to hear them, but I don't know if you could see them. That's why I'm doing this in May, because I don't want to be doing that in September, you know. I might maybe come in here one more time to put a camera out, but other than that, this next time I'm in here, it's going to be with a bow. If you remember me talking on the podcast yesterday, if you listened to it, which it's episode 108, I was talking about, didn't think there was going to be any hunting pressure because there's not going to be many trees to climb, and it's thick getting in here. There's no good place to park, and all those things are true, except I can get in a tree in here because I use a saddle. And nobody using a climber in here, I guarantee it. But with these trees, I can bob and weave up around all these limbs with my steps and get hung up on my saddle, and I can hunt almost any of these trees in here, which is great. So I'm going to kind of continue along this bench and just see what I can see. It's looking really good so far. Hopefully find some more buck sign and stuff, and we'll be cocked, locked, and ready to rock. Alright, I had to put my sunglasses on because the gnats were so bad, but I'm right now on this little, looks like maybe it was an old logging road at some point, or really now it's a dry creek bed. So there's a little bitty creek running through here. There's some tracks on it, there's some rubs on it, and there's a pond right over there, right over my shoulder. You can see that hillside. This is awesome, awesome, awesome bedding. Tons of food in here, tons of natural food, which is nice. And looky there. We got two big white oaks right here next to the trail, which is fantastic. So I didn't know those were there. I couldn't see them on the map. So those white oaks, if they produce this year, they might be a dang good spot to hunt in early season. As you can see, the surrounding area is really thick, and yes, deer like thick, but they also do have to walk through it. So something like this provides a little bit easier of a trail to get through here on. So just this right here might be something it's worth putting a camera on. Plus there's a ton of blackberries and goldenrod and poke salad and stuff on this trail. They'll probably be feeding on that. You know, this might be a good place to do a little bit of inventory, just kind of see if the deer are hanging out on this place in the summer, but also to see what kind of bucks in here, because bucks are going to be hopefully in here eating this kind of stuff. I'd love to put a trail camera that's like a cell camera in here, but I don't think I can just because of the service. If you don't have self-service, I don't think you can use a cell camera. That's a bummer. But also, might be hard to see, but that hill over there is pretty steep, and there's actually another hill over there that's really steep that's also kind of a cutover. So I'll probably come out here in the evenings and literally just glass it. You know, get my tripod and my binos out here and just sit in the mornings and the evenings whenever I get a chance and just glass this, look over it, see if I can see deer mingling through the bedding area, just so I can see, one, if there's a good amount of deer here, but two, if there's a really nice buck in here somewhere, which here in about a month we'll really start being able to tell if the bucks, you know, are going to be big. They'll start taking on shape and mass and everything, and we'll really have an idea of what we got. This looks good so far. I'm satisfied with this little scouting trip. So see what we can find on the way out, I guess. I knew I wasn't getting out without seeing one. Sucker's camouflage. Old copperhead. Right where I need to walk. I'm gonna grab a stick and run him off. Alright, come on. Get out of here. Woo! It's hot, baby. It's Memorial Day, by the way. That's the day I'm out here scouting. Overall, I think it was a success. Found some beds, found some potential food sources, found some travel corridors, and didn't find any hunting pressure signs. So checks off most of the stuff on our list. Thanks you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions for stuff you want to see in the summertime, whether it be gear reviews, archery stuff like tuning your bow, we're going to do a video soon on shooting peepless with an IQ bow sight. So if you have that retina lock IQ bow sight, you don't have to have a peep. That's how I shoot. So we're going to do a video on that. And also scouting, anything y'all want to see as far as scouting goes, like, hey, how do you find this? Hey, can you identify some of these plants? Something like that. Drop it down in the comments below. We'll get to that as soon as we can. And then fishing content too. We'd like to see how interested people are in fishing content, so you can comment, email us, shoot us a message on Facebook, do whatever you got to do, and we'll take it to heart, man. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back soon.